In March of this year, I shared my very first Michelle headband tutorial with you all, and a lot of you guys loved it. In May, I decided to do Michelle 2.0, and I showed you guys how to make the updated version of the same Michelle headband. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing Michelle 3.0 with you guys. Michelle 3.0 has an incorporation of beading and wirework. If you guys would love to know all about how to recreate this gorgeous headband design, please make sure you watch this video to the end. Feel free to like the video. Liking the video lets me know that you guys enjoyed watching. Also, if you have friends or family members that will love this type of content, please feel free to share with them. Subscribe if you're yet to subscribe, and feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. Alright guys, let's get straight into the reason why you clicked on this video. Let's go. As our custom on here, I'll show you everything you need. You need your plastic headband. I'm using the 2-inch plastic headband. You need a piece of soft poly fabric, which is what I just showed you. You need your stay, and this is the stay that I'm using. Stay is a type of interfacing that is very soft. It mimics the texture of your typical soft fabric. You also need something called wadding. You're using the soft wadding, and this is how light the texture is. We also have the thicker one, so make sure that you buy the right one. You need your scissors, of course, your tailoring chalk for marking measurements. You need your thread because we are going to do a bit of hand sewing, and you also need your needle to go with your thread. I'm using this 3.5-inch needle. You need your tape rule for marking measurements, and you're also going to need your thread snipper and some other accessories. Because this design has some beading involved, you also need different types of beads. This is my headband after wrapping. If you're new here and you don't know how to wrap headband neatly, don't worry, I got you. I have a full-blown tutorial where I show you step by step how to wrap headbands neatly. If you've not seen that video, I'm going to link it on the screen for you. Feel free to click on it after watching this video, or scroll to the bottom after watching this video, and you will see the video in the description bar of this video. This is my wadding after cutting. I'm going to leave the dimension of the screen. Please take note of those dimensions. I also cut out my fabric, my soft poly fabric that I mentioned. This poly is shiny poly. Feel free to buy the plain type of soft poly or shiny one if you want to do exactly what I'm doing. This fabric is on fold, and I'm going to leave the dimension on the screen. This is my stay. I cut a matching length of stay to go with my poly fabric, and we're going to see. I took my poly and my stay to my ironing board, and I'm here ironing the interfacing onto the poly fabric. Soft poly can be very, flimsy, and it can move around a lot. Because I want this fabric to have some form of stability, I pressed on my interfacing, and this is the end result. This stay addition to your poly fabric is going to give the poly more weight and more stability. The next thing I'm going to do is to fold my fabric along the width, and I'm going to show you guys on the screen. So you see what I'm doing. I'm folding it along the width like so, and then I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew all the way along the length, all the way till we get to the end of this fabric. And I'm also going to just take you guys to my sewing machine and just show you how I'm sewing briefly. I'm sewing on 1/2 of an inch. If you don't want to do 1/2 of an inch, feel free to do 1/4 of an inch, but don't let your sewing allowance be more than 1/2 of an inch. Once that is done, you're going to take your fabric to your workstation and turn the fabric inside out as shown on the screen. I like to use my long screwdriver to help me with turning fabric inside out. If you don't know how to use your screwdriver, just do whatever works for you. The point is you want to turn your fabric to the right side, and once you've done that successfully, you're going to pull on your fabric and then take your fabric to your ironing board and give the fabric a good press. As a designer, a milliner, a fashion designer, you must love ironing. Ironed work usually turns out looking very neat, and while ironing as well, you need to be very careful to avoid burning your fabric. Okay, as a fashion designer or tailor, whatever you want to call yourself, a milliner, you should know how to manage your iron, especially your steam iron. If you're sewing, if you're doing anything that involves fashion design, you should be using a steam iron. Anyway, I digress. This is my bodkin, and this is what I'm going to be using to pass my interfacing, which is the wadding. Remember, I used 2 different interfacing. I used stay. I've already ironed the stay onto my fabric. The next thing we are doing now is passing our wadding inside this fabric. This wadding is going to give the piece of fabric that we're working it even more stability and more weight, and it's going to make the end result look really gorgeous. And this is how I like to use my bodkin. Bodkins are like the best thing that's ever happened to me and my journey. I remember when I just started and I had to, pass things through fabric. It used to stress me out because I used to use safety pin. Safety pin works for some people, but I prefer using bodkins way more than I prefer using what they call it now, safety pins. I wonder why it took me so long to say that. Anyway, I'm taking off my bodkin now, and now it's time to just adjust my fabric, sew up the open ends, and this is what we have here. The next thing we are going to do is to gather our fabric. Because I've done this in all the previous versions of this particular headband, I'm not going to bore you guys showing you how I'm going to be gathering my fabric. This is my fabric after gathering, and now this is where the main work starts. But you don't have to worry, okay? The remaining part of this video is going to show you everything you need to do. Because the previous versions of the Michelle headband that we've done, we just simply do hand sewing and attach this ruffled up piece of fabric onto the headband. This time, because we want it to have like a I don't know the best word to use for it, but like a twisted, zigzaggy kind of end result, I'm going to be using some glue. Okay, I know I talk about how, oh, I don't like to use glue, but this time we are using glue. I'm going to basically use my chalk to mark points on the headband and then place my gathered fabric along those marked lines and then twist it and just make it look gorgeous. Talking, like I always say, doesn't usually do justice to me and everything that I do on here on the channel. Watch closely, pause, rewind, and do everything that you need to do until you get the hang of this entire thing. I tried my best to zoom in and give you guys good angles so you see exactly what I'm doing. You see that I've already marked that first point, and I'm going to twist my fabric and then press it onto this point where I'm applying glue right there on the screen. So you see I applied my glue on the point where I marked using my tailoring chalk, and now I'm placing my fabric at that point and pressing it. Make sure that you press it real good so that the fabric will not pull off the glue as you go along. We're still going to do some hand sewing and we are going to see when I get to that point, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm going to keep marking and doing the needful on this piece of headband until I'm satisfied with the end result. I'm going to keep quiet now, allow you guys watch so I don't distract you with my voice. Since some people have said I talk too much, I'm going to keep my mouth shut now. I'm just joking, guys. So yeah, just watch closely. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like the video if you've not liked it, and feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. I'm going to keep quiet now, and then I'll come back to talk to you guys when I feel it's necessary for me to talk, okay? All right, so now that I'm getting towards the end of my ruffled up fabric, I decided to start doing my hand stitches. Okay, so at the points where your glue is, you need to use your needle and thread to do some hand stitches to secure your ruffled up design on top of your headband, to make sure that, when whoever is wearing it wears it, there will be no wardrobe disaster. Okay, don't depend on glue. Glue will disappoint you. Okay, so always try to follow up your glue work with your hand sewing. Okay, all right, so that's what I'm doing here. I did not speed up this particular tutorial too much, just so everybody understands what I'm doing, carefully, and there's no need for any form of confusion. Okay, but if you still have questions for me, please feel free. If there's anything that you think you would like to know that I did not show in this video, please feel free to drop your question in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer you. And if after uploading this video I notice that there's anything confusing that I didn't talk about, please check the comment section for the pinned comments and check out whatever detail I put there for you guys. Okay, all right, so I'm going to keep gluing and all that jazz and following up my glue work with hand sewing. And once I'm done with all of that, we would now get to the embellishment portion of this video. I'm going to speed through the remaining part of this video because I feel like it's dragging and all of that. But if you guys don't want me to be speeding up, please drop it in the comment section. So going forward, I'll try not to speed up, but because I know that attention span isn't so great, I try to just move through things really quickly. So you can see that I'm applying my glue here, and then once I'm done applying the glue, I'm going to place the ruffle design on top of that glued point and then follow it up with hand sewing. All right, I'm going to keep quiet now again, allow you guys pay close attention to how I'm going to tidy up the attachment of this ruffle design onto our plastic headband. And once that is done, we will move on to the embellishment point of this particular headband. Alright guys, so this is my headband after doing hand stitches to secure the points where I applied glue. You could stop here if you're going for something simple, or if your client doesn't want any form of embellishments done to their headband. This is a perfect place to stop, but knowing me and the kind of person that I am, I had to do some embellishment. However, for the embellishment portion of this video, I'm going to upload it in the part 2 of this tutorial, because if I go ahead to add the embellishment portion, this video will probably get up to 30 minutes, and I know that you guys don't have that patience. So I'm going to upload the beading and the embellishment of this headband in another video, so feel free to check out that video if you'll be interested in learning how I did the wire work and the beading of this video. If you enjoyed this preamble video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. If you have questions for me, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Look out for that video. It should go up in the coming days, okay, in a few days time. Okay, so make sure your post notification is turned on, make sure you're subscribed, feel free to share this video with your friends and family and all that jazz. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I can't wait to see you in another one. Bye.